What's poppin', internet? Welcome to another episode of the Synced Up Podcast, a show where we talk about news, games, and sandwich a little fun in between. I'm one of your hosts, Timothy DeRoe, and joining me this week is your boy, Michael Clare, back in the groove of things.
Yes, sir.
Me being gone, you being gone, everyone being gone.
Didn't we do one last week?
Yeah, but now we're like, it's 2 weeks in a row, so it's like official, you know what I'm saying?
We've reestablished.
Yeah, we're reestablished. We're back on the phones again today because paper.
We're dumb. We forgot to go to Walmart.
When your pizza... I'm not going to make that joke. Whatever. Today we're going to talk about Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games coming to Nintendo Switch Online, Sony having an event next week, and some different gameplay drops that happened this week. Before we talk about that, a little housekeeping for you. If you enjoy our show, you should consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/syncedupodcast, where for $1 you can get access to the lovely Discord where we talk about a lot of things like how we're getting piped in our Clash of Clans war right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or for $5, you can get access to that Discord and post shows of both the shows we do and many more goodies, all from youtube.com/syncedupodcast and podcasting services around the globe.
Arguably the most irritating of our content.
Yeah.
My mom hit me up and said turkey and cheddar, and I was like, "What do you mean? How is that your number one? Turkey and cheddar?"
She like on
Lunchables.
Lunchables. It's okay. Not bad.
Turkey and cheddar.
Yeah.
Ham
New
is
episodes
just
of this
arguably
show
better.
go up in all those feeds Mondays 7 a.m. Central Time Zone gang. You can also write into this show to synceduppod@gmail.com or the reader mail submissions tab of the Discord with any questions, comments, or concerns. We may read those on the show. You should also consider following us on Twitter.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
At
supporting us on Twitter.
synceduppod to keep up to date with all of our content from across the board.
Yes. Good stuff on there.
Now let's get right into... No, I'm not going to imitate
Don't do
fucking
that.
Keemstar.
Why would you do that?
I'm not going to imitate Keemstar.
Tainted.
Yeah, I know.
You've ruined it.
It's ruined. Nintendo is reportedly adding Game Boy titles to its Switch Online service. This is from Mariella Moon at Engadget. Leaving, baby. Bye. Drive safe. That's Adriana. She's going to her mom's for the weekend. She'll be back. She'll be back later.
I see.
The Nintendo Switch Online subscription service may give you access to games newer than NES and SNES titles in the near future.
God bless.
According to the latest Nate the Hate podcast, Nintendo might be adding Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to Switch Online in the coming weeks. As the host discussion in the show, some people found back in 2019 that the service has 4 emulators, and of 2 of those are still unused. They believe that those emulators are for Game Boy and Game Boy Color titles, and both Nintendo Life and Eurogamer corroborated the report with sources of their own. Nintendo Switch's online service turns 3 years old in a few weeks. It launched on September 18th, 2018, offering members access to retro games for 2 of the company's oldest consoles. Since then, the company has been regularly adding more and more SNES and NES games to its selection, including beloved classics like the Super Mario Bros. Series, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, and Donkey Kong. Adding Game Boy titles to the mix means Nintendo won't be running out of games to add in the foreseeable future. Nintendo Life source isn't optimistic about the possibility of the company rolling out Game Boy Advance titles for the service in the near future. According to Eurogamer, though, other retro platforms are also in the cards. As you'd expect, Nintendo refuses to comment about the rumor. It told The Verge, quote, "We have nothing to announce on this topic." This makes sense. You know, the Switch, the perfect place for Game Boy Color titles. Sucks that there's no Game Boy Advance titles. There's some really good Game Boy Advance games out there.
But I'll take Game Boy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exciting titles, especially way more than the NES and SNES, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Things that are way more nostalgic to my childhood.
Playing them on the Switch will feel nice.
Yeah. I do hate this cycle, though, of, like, the emulation of the old school games for Nintendo having to be re-released to every console. Right?
Yeah, classic.
So like on the Wii and the Wii U, eventually you got these titles from older games. 3DS, eventually you got to play
the
like
virtual console.
Yeah, but like, why do we have to go back to square one every?
It's the Nintendo
time?
method, bro. The Nintendo method. I had a train of thought that I was going on, crashed it. We was talking about the online Game Boy, Game Boy
I really didn't
Color.
go off topic.
I know, but like it was like a very specific talking point that I wanted to make.
What, you want to play Mega Man Battle?
Isaiah's calling me. Do I answer it live on air?
Yeah, go for it.
Isaiah Roberson, you're live on the Synced Up podcast. How are you?
Oh, did I mess up the recording? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're live on the podcast.
You're live.
Oh.
Get his opinion.
How do you feel about Game Boy games coming to Nintendo Switch Online?
Game Boy games actually pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Which one you looking forward to the most? Yeah, if you could pick one Game Boy game.
Wait, is there any like there isn't like any like old like Zelda games coming up, is it? I haven't really like read too much of it. Not gonna lie.
I don't know. What they haven't said is just a rumor.
Yeah, what's an iconic Game Boy game that you'd like to see? For me, it's obviously Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah,
like
Pokemon Yellow.
easy.
Yeah, Pokemon Yellow. Low key, even though I'm pretty sure this is a Game Boy Advance game, but
Probably.
like Zelda Minish Cap, I would love to see that.
I think that was Advance.
I'll look it up for you.
Well, I would love to see that as well. Anyway, I was calling you because I was telling you we're going to record the show and then you can come over and play Magic after. That's all I was telling you. So you just, so we're in the middle of the show, but after the show we can play Magic. So you can come over at any point.
Can confirm. Game
All
Boy
right, cool.
Advance.
So, all right, we're going to get back to the show.
Thank you for your input, sir.
All right, peace. Okay, sorry about that.
If we ever get to Game Boy Advance games on the Switch,
Minish Cap.
it's over.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be too many.
That
games.
that would be nice. That would be incredibly nice. Oh, that was the talking point I was gonna make. It's September. You know, you're coming to the anniversary of the Nintendo Switch Online service. Adding a new thing in there makes perfect sense. Also, Nintendo always has an event in September every year. For the past 7 or 8 years, has not failed. Nintendo has had a Nintendo Direct, a partner presents something in September, every single September. It's never failed. So for them to come out and announce something in the next couple of weeks on the anniversary of Nintendo Switch Online makes perfect sense. Maybe we have a Nintendo Direct coming, maybe solidify a date for Breath of the Wild 2, something like that. Don't want to get your hopes up too high, but I think
this is probably to be expected, though.
Yeah.
I think that's
definitely. But we are going to get some big news out of Sony next week. You're invited. PlayStation Showcase 2021 broadcast next Thursday. This is from Sid Schumann at PlayStation Blog. Tune in to see what's next for PlayStation 5. You've been awfully patient, and we thank you for that. And now we're looking forward to showing you what we've been working on. Tune in next Thursday, September 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. BST, and 10 p.m. CEST for a look into the future of PS5. The showcase will weigh in around 40 minutes and include updates from PlayStation Studios and some of the industry's most imaginative developers for games releasing this holiday and beyond. And stick around after the presentation to get more updates from some of the studio teams featured in the showcase. One thing to note, PlayStation's next generation of VR won't make an appearance this time, but there'll still be plenty of great PS5 games from developers large and small. We hope you can join us. So this is exciting for a couple of reasons. One, coming out ahead of it, saying there's no PlayStation VR titles. That's nice for the people who are excited for PSVR so they don't get their hopes too high. Yeah. That's also for people like us who don't care about PSVR. That's nice
know that
because
full 40 minutes is just going to be stuff you
want. Secondly, they're calling it a PlayStation Showcase, not a state of play, which to me means we're going to see God of War. We're going to see, we're going to see some major stuff coming down the pipeline.
So you think E3 level kind of information?
Yes, I think we're going to get God of War Ragnarok, maybe a solidify on if that's the actual title. Maybe we see some gameplay, get an idea what that game's about. I think maybe a little bit more from Horizon. You're going to show a little bit more of that. I think we finally maybe see the Last of Us 2 multiplayer that was announced that they're going to be making. Yeah. I think we finally see something from them. Knack 3.
Did you say Last of Us 2 multiplayer?
Yeah.
Do you not think we'll see any of the remake stuff?
Oh, Last of Us 1. Well,
or is it too early for that?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I can't remember what else big things like. I mean,
because
Death Stranding director cut.
Yeah, but we've seen that. We've seen that so much.
But that's all stuff we've seen.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima's already
I'm trying to think
out.
of what new things?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm sure there will be new things.
Yeah.
So get excited for that.
Yeah,
I know. I'm pretty stoked.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know how could they fail. It'd be cool if they tried to update their tried to get a little more competitive with Game Pass.
Yeah, PS Now looking a little better. Yeah, I do agree. There is one thing that you won't see on that PlayStation Showcase, and that's the fact that Starfield, you won't see at the PlayStation Showcase. And we had to reconfirm. Bethesda had to reconfirm the exclusivity of Starfield this week because Starfield did show some stuff off. I don't know. Let's see if you can find the tweet, Jordan, so you can show some of the video. Look up like Starfield world building video or something. I should have brought it up. I wasn't going to, but the Starfield developers, Bethesda, this week tweeted out 3 separate videos about world building in Starfield, showing off kind of some concept art, kind of some. Maybe there was some in there that looked maybe in-game stuff of the worlds that you're going to see in Starfield, and added a little bit more of like, okay, we're going to be traveling to multiple planets. We're going to be doing like a lot of cool stuff in this game. So they showed off more stuff, and then, of course, they had to come out and be like, hey, don't forget, this is exclusive to Xbox and to Game Pass.
The Sony homies down bad right now.
Yeah, they are definitely down bad.
They could not, acknowledge.
Are you finding anything, Jordan?
What happened had really happened.
If you can't find it, that's fine. It was just a couple of like 40-second videos. There nothing really major about the videos, but they just showed off some worlds. They're like, oh, this is an industrial world with these people are there, and this is the type of government there. And then that was just kind of all that they did there. So it was pretty cool. Got me really excited. I'm stoked for Starfield. I'm very stoked for Starfield. Coming out next year, of course, at the end of the year. Will it hit it? Probably not. But the fact that it's going to be on Game Pass, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. It's gonna be so good, and I can't wait to play it.
I have a question.
What's up?
It's not in the doc, but have you seen anything about the Sonic Color remaster for Switch?
Being bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it's very poor.
Have you seen any of the videos?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh.
Is it bad?
Okay. Jordan, I do want you to pull that up.
Okay.
Sonic, just look up Sonic Colors remaster on Twitter. There's some real bad videos.
Damn, it's that bad. I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen any of it.
I've heard some stuff that like, oh, this person was running an emulator beforehand.
Yeah, see this conversation got sporadic, but before you bring up those videos, I should have mentioned while we were talking about the PlayStation thing, the Horizon Forbidden West stuff that happened this week.
Yes.
Of course, you have they announced the different things that you can buy, whether the digital deluxe edition, the deluxe edition, the collector's edition, the special edition, the PS4 edition, yada 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 yada. They announced like 20 different versions that you could buy for 2 different consoles. Basically, it was very convoluted and bad. And if you bought the deluxe edition on PS4, where you were locked into PS4, and if you wanted the PS5 version, you had to rebuy the game. There was no upgrade. There's nothing like that. They have since rescinded that, and you can now pay a $10 upgrade fee to go to the PlayStation 5.
Which is what they kind of promised at the beginning.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of weird shit, and everyone was like, why is this so overly confusing? The fact that we're a year and we're almost a year into the PlayStation 5 and we're still having these type of problems is a bit ridiculous. Of course, these are problems that'll go away eventually, but of course, just weird stuff. And I think Tim Geddes said it best. You don't want to ostracize the audience on the PlayStation 4 and to say, hey, you can buy the deluxe edition of Horizon Forbidden West on your PS4 and play it. But when you finally get that PS5, you're gonna have to rebuy this game to play the PS5 version. Just bullshit, man.
It is.
But I'm glad that they fixed that. It's still a $10 upgrade fee, which sucks, but hey. At least that's better than nothing. So anyway, show these Sonic
videos. Were you able
videos.
to find some? Well, you can pull up the Twitter, and I'll see if any are recognizable to me. Oh, well, the second one.
This one? Okay, click it. Loud?
Just mute it.
Damn, bleeding? Your ears bleeding?
My bad, fam.
Oh my god. This was from the remake?
This might be someone playing it on the emulator or something.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. Alright, we can leave this one. There's a different one.
What the fuck is going on?
Where he turns into a fish.
Sonic Colors Remastered? Make sure you put remastered.
Or just put Sonic Colors Fish. Because that's the video I want.
You just want to... Okay.
No. Well, there's a picture of it.
Just look up Sonic Colors Remastered.
Yeah.
Because people were clowning on it for a while there.
Now, granted, we don't know which footage is actually from the Switch and which is from the emulator that people were using.
But it was bad enough that everyone is... Damn, like, what's happening? Man, okay.
They had them taking down the videos, I guess. I don't
know. Okay.
Welcome back to the pod. It was bad. Some bad stuff.
I've seen people on Twitter just really...
He just turns into a fish model instead.
I've seen people reaming it on Twitter, so...
Yeah, it's not good. Apparently it runs fine on the other consoles. It's just the Switch version. But how is Sonic, a pillar of the gaming industry, treated like that?
I don't know.
Mario would never.
Yeah. Well, it would always be good. They might they might overcharge you, but it'll be polished.
Yeah.
It'll be polished.
It'll be like won't be.
Okay.
Mario won't turn into a turtle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying there. Now we're gonna talk about a little bit of gameplay. Of course, we've seen the Starfield stuff, which might have been gameplay, but we got to see some gameplay for Midnight Sun and for Dead Space. So first and foremost, Dead Space or Midnight Suns. So they released a 6.5-minute trailer on September 1st for the Midnight Suns. That's the Marvel XCOM-like game from Firaxis that's coming out. I liked what I seen. Of course, in there, just a little bit of a, I guess, recap for you. Of course, turn-based combat, card-based combat now instead of an XCOM. It's now you build yourself a deck. You don't build a deck for each individual character. You build a deck for the whole thing. And so they were talking about there were rare situations in which you wouldn't draw cards for like Wolverine, and Wolverine would just kind of have to vibe that turn, but that it was a very rare occurrence. Yeah. But yeah, you have cards instead of like just your abilities, and they talked about how in XCOM your characters, you were like, okay, these characters are always going to do these things, and that was always what you're going to do. Yeah. And the card system in Midnight Suns added like a good amount of spice where you're like, okay, so it's more reactionary. Whereas in XCOM, and I'm sure Jordan can attest to this, he played in a little bit of XCOM, you got your 4 characters, and it's like, this character, he's going to do this. He's going to do this.
5 turns out if everything goes to plan.
And it's now the opposite, whereas in XCOM, you're humans fighting overpowered aliens, and so you were getting destroyed. They were saying, in this game, you are overpowered superheroes. And the super hard battles are going to be like the boss battles and shit like that. But like when you're fighting minions and stuff, if Captain Marvel is fighting some Hydra dudes, she's going to fuck them up. That's just how it is. That's how it would be, and so that's how it is in the game. So if you do like some laser Captain Marvel move on a bunch of Hydra dudes, it's going to like annihilate them. And so you are super powered heroes in this game, and like you're really strong. Got to see some of the hub area. Of course, XCOM has a hub area, but it's one where you're kind of like point and clicking and just clicking and upgrading things. This one, you're actually your character. You're walking around in third person. You're talking to people. You're taking walks in the park. You're having dialogue choices.
They said one thing where it's just a real time. You'd be moving around the Abbey in real time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean like you got an hour and a half to explore the Abbey before event.
That just means it's not turn based because the game itself is turn based. No, you're just walking around.
I didn't know if I was supposed to infer something else.
No. And you're making gameplay choices there with your relationships with characters. You can do different things with them. You can go on outings with them. You can go on like a picnic. You can go walking and stuff like that. And certain characters like certain things. So they talked about like there might be a character that's really into video games, and if you take them on a walk in the park, they'll react accordingly. They'll be like, dude, I don't like to be out here. Like, why are we walking in the park? But you can build relationships with these characters to enhance their ultimate abilities, get better abilities, newer abilities, stuff like that. Of course, upgrade your character's gear. Fully customizable Marvel hero here with the Hunter. Looked really good. Character models looked really good, I thought.
Yeah.
And the armor and stuff. Got rid of the grid-based system, it looks like. Doesn't really look like there's grids in the actual combat itself. More just area of effects and things like that. So you don't really have grids and movement and whatnot.
Yeah.
That part of the gameplay I thought looked good. I'm into cards and deck building and stuff.
How do you feel about the cast?
The cast I'm into. Of course, I've never read the Midnight Suns. Jordan, can you scroll down so I can keep make sure the mics are still on? It just stresses me out not seeing them. Just scroll. Thank you. So like the cards or the cast. Yeah, I've never read the Midnight Suns. I don't know if Chance has. Chance might have more insight into that. But Ghost Rider, that's an okay pick. For me, it's like Wolverine. With how he's been in games before, with like
he's always fun.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Of course, you got to have him in there. I'm a little bit Captain Marvel excited for a little bit. Of course, having Iron Man, some abilities there. Captain America, iconic. Doctor Strange, love Doctor Strange. Blade, hey, show some love to Blade. We got the Blade movie coming. I'm kind of excited.
The rest of the Runaways, though, I know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't either. Magic, I've heard she's cool, but no clue. But
so, I mean, that's cool. At least I'll be able to learn about new characters.
Yeah. And so everyone was worried that you were just controlling the one guy and the other people were controlling themselves. But no, you control that person you control the Hunter in the Abbey, which is the hub area, and then when you're out there battling, you control all of the characters. You just have to have your character there with you, and you might have different synergies, different team members that like each other more and stuff.
Who to take out too. It's not like in this mission you have to use these people. Maybe you'll be like, for this mission you have to use Strange.
Yeah.
But you still get to choose your team.
Exactly. There is one thing that I am a little worried about, and I'll have to wait until launch to see if this is an actual issue. It's the fact that this game is made by Firaxis, which is fine, but it's published by 2K. 2K notorious for microtransactions, and the way you unlock abilities and things in this is through a loot box looking system where you
there's like some shards.
Yeah, you pay some shards to Blade, and you open a 3-card booster pack to see what you get. And so hey, it's a single player game. That might not even be an issue, but with games like FIFA and stuff like that before, they've had card packs. 2K has done crazy stuff with microtransactions. So I'm a little worried on that front. But it's just a slight worry, and I'm cautiously optimistic that even if there is microtransactions to kind of get ahead, that it's not going to be necessary or required. You won't run into a mission where you're getting piped, and you're like, I got to pay $5 to get this booster pack. Like, I don't think that I hope that that's not the case. And if that's not the case, I will be really into this game. I'm actually really into it.
I am too. I like the turn-based combat. Obviously, we love Marvel.
Of course.
We're pretty big fans here. And I'm excited for the story. Because there's, like I said, half the cast I know. Another half I don't.
Yeah. So
which is cool.
We're going to see some cool stuff. Now, Dead Space. They showed off some very early gameplay of Dead Space. EA came out. EA really being a pioneer in the industry, I feel like, nowadays with showing off games extremely early. Seeing Dragon Age, seeing super early Mass Effect stuff, seeing super early Battlefield 2042 stuff before the release date was announced and any of that stuff. Just seeing cages and like grayscale textures and shit like that. Like they're showing these games off really, really early, and so they came out and they showed some of Dead Space. Really liked what I saw. Of course, I didn't play the original Dead Space trilogy, so I don't know what to expect there. But between the lighting and things, seems really nice. Looks like they're overhauling the story in a sense of like they're putting stuff in the story that makes some of the confusing bits more understanding. And they're taking stuff from like Dead Space 2 and stuff and kind of moving it up into Dead Space 1. But the core story and the core events of the story, unchanged. Still the same story. The environments, virtually unchanged. Pretty much the same. They just look a lot better. Yeah. They're kind of building it up from the ground up. But they have revamped the combat system, in which means like you could rip one of the craziest things about Dead Space back in the day when it came out was the ability to like rip limbs off and shit like that of these necromorphs, and it was like, oh, this is cool. They've now went with a flesh system instead of a limb system, in which case you can rip off certain flesh parts of the monsters and then like shoot the bones to rip off the limbs on those parts. And so it's like a overhauled advanced version of the like the limb what do you call that? Severing system, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. That they had before. So it's an overhaul of that. The combat's a little bit more extreme. They showed that they're changing some of the guns, they're changing some of the stuff like that. And they're also making him talk in the first one. He was a silent protagonist in Dead Space 1, didn't talk until 2 and 3. He's going to talk in 1. Okay. So they said they're keeping it to a minimal though, because he didn't really talk in the first one, so they don't want to change the story too much. So
I will not be playing this game.
I will be playing the shit out of this game, I think.
Too spooked. Last thing for me for the news this week. They're Pokemon Go. They finally.
They ran it back?
They ran it back.
Okay.
They also tried to work in some other changes after talking to some of the community members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this whole experience has just confused me. Because the whole time there's a lot of people just fighting like, hey, your game was better.
Yeah.
Like, why would you
why are we changing?
Actively make your game worse?
Yeah.
And there's a whole other side of the community that's like, stop being babies. They're a corporation. They don't need to do what you say.
The classic. Like, come on.
Why?
You can critique. You can critique, bro. Come on.
Yeah, and you can get things better for people. Like the whole thing with the Horizon. Yeah. Where people were like, "What the hell, dude? Why are you guys doing this? Run it back." And they did. Yeah, they did. But those things won't happen if you don't call it out.
Exactly.
Same thing with like stuff with like Blizzard. I mean, that's a much.
We seen with the Sonic movie.
Scare. Yeah.
The Sonic movie.
Outcry works.
Yeah. Straight delayed that bitch.
Yeah. And it's necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't get why some people are just so active, like stop complaining and being a baby.
Yeah, come on, man.
Just go outside for a walk. Like so annoying. But Niantic saved face. They fixed their boo boo.
That's good to see. Now it's time. This next section of the podcast.
Yeah, the one following the news.
Following the news.
Right after.
Where we talk about it's where like we do things.
It's called what you've been
There's like some
playing.
games of the week of the games that came out this week. Where we talk about those ones.
September 6th.
It's like for history purposes.
Historical?
Yeah, it's like if you ever been to history class.
We're
doing it. It's like
basically
that.
A museum when you think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a retrospective for
like
the future.
We have
back then though.
We have this exhibit with some old
a couple
games.
of the games that we played on here.
And then NES.
Did you? What's? So do we talk about what's the games? All right, it's time. Sorry, I watched too much TikTok. With that guy who was like super awkward on TikTok. Dude, I can't think of his name, but he's always like, "Oh, like we're gonna do this filter."
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, that guy's so funny. Anyway, September 6th, Dead Island, the original, dropped in 2011. Man, 10 years since Dead Island. Crazy. Driver San Francisco came out that same year. You ever played the Driver games? You ever played the Driver games, Jordan?
I've never heard of the Driver games.
You ever played Driver?
I didn't play Driver, but I did play the similar vein of Stuntman. So it's
it's like thing. It's kind of like GTA, but like
never been
not as
never been
as brutal.
Yeah, and then Destiny 2. Destiny 2 dropped 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
I actually played that game when it came out.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I
enjoyed it. It's a good game. Jordan's back in.
3 days ago. Yeah.
Jordan's back in. September 7th, Final Fantasy 7 in 1997 and Final Fantasy 8 in 1999. Then my favorite Pokemon games, Fire Red and Leaf Green in 2004.
Wow.
Classic.
They're pretty good. Not
Spore in 2008. Do you remember Spore?
The DS one?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that the
Remake Spore, I think.
I don't know.
I think.
Can you tell me
Remake Spore, put it on Game Pass.
Can you tell me any of the gameplay besides making the creature?
Nah. But just look, Remake Spore, put it on Game Pass.
I don't think
Would you play a Spore like 2? Is there a Spore 2? Would you play like a Spore
Spore
Reboot on Game Pass?
I honestly don't think so.
On Game Pass?
Because I don't think it's good.
It's good.
I don't think it would be good enough.
It may be. I don't know.
I don't think it would be worth my time.
Maybe.
Like, I'd much rather play
not.
something like Slime Rancher.
Okay, fair enough. Spider-Man PS4 dropped in 2018. 3 years since that game. Good ass game. September 8th, Soul Calibur, the original, in 1999. Amnesia: The Dark Descent, the iconic horror game, in 2010. Plants vs. Zombies, the original. 11 years since Plants vs. Zombies first dropped.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm fact checking.
Fact check me.
I feel like we just.
Fact check.
I feel like
fact check game facts.
I'm getting deja vu here. Have we not had to look this up before?
Maybe.
I feel like we have.
Plants vs. Zombies, 2010.
Well, that says 2009.
2009, May 5th, 2009. Look up. Oh, hold up. Plants versus Zombies.
Oh, why does it say
2010? Oh, that's when it came out. Console.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, May 5th, 2009.
Yeah. Play.
Even then, that seems too late. I feel like the game was like 2006.
September. Maybe. Yeah. North America Xbox Live Arcade, September 8th, 2010. Came out on the 360.
Yeah, but it came out on computer first.
Yeah. Did on PopCap. Anyway, Tearaway 2 in 2015. September 9th, Mortal Kombat 2 in 1994. The PlayStation 1 with the launch title of Rayman in 1995. Spyro the Dragon in 1998.
That's a good game.
The Dreamcast in 1999 with the launch title of Sonic Adventure 1 in 1999. And then the first Destiny 7 years ago, 2014.
Only 3 years between 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. And then there hasn't been a 3. It's just been updates.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, crazy. September 10th, Greedfall 2019. Okay game. You played that, right, Jordan?
2 years ago? Is that what I think it was?
Yeah, Greedfall.
I never beat it, but I did play it. It's just too much.
And it was enjoyable, but just like a 7.
This is not what I'm thinking of. What's the game?
I think it was like a 7 because it was kind of like Dragon Age, and that was enjoyable.
What was the game they were showing off like for PS5 release? That was like a.
You're talking about Godfall.
Godfall. Thank you.
You're talking about Godfall. September 11th. Never forget Super Mario Maker 2015. 6 years since the first Super Mario Maker on the Wii U.
One of the best games.
Really, really good. And then September 12th, the original Cooking Mama, fucking iconic. Too bad they're in like a weird. Remember all the legal bullshit? Like the game came out for an hour and then it was like a weird thing. Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy in 2006. About to get maybe with all the delays and stuff. You're supposed to be getting the complete Lego's Luke Skywalker saga Lego thing. And then Shadow the Tomb Raider 2018, 3 years ago. Shout out to Jordan. He likes those games. And that's it for the games that came out this week. Good
week.
Yeah, super packed.
Yeah.
Super packed.
Busy week.
It's probably gonna be this way, because it's the fall season, so you're gonna see that.
Until like December.
Yeah. Now it's time to talk about the games that we've been playing. I'll start it off with the Forgotten City. I wanted to beat it before I came and talk about it, so I could really talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really enjoying the Forgotten City. If you don't know what the Forgotten City is, Blessing Adeoye Jr. has been championing it on the Kind of Funny game podcast and stuff, talking about how it's, if you're 12 minutes, it's a time loop game. It's a time loop game, and he's like, this is the best time loop game. If you like time loops and you didn't like 12 minutes, try out the Forgotten City. So what the Forgotten City is it was a Skyrim mod that completely overhauled the game and made it like a different game, like its own story.
Yeah, just use the assets.
Yeah, but they actually went and made it its whole game. It's on consoles. It's $20. I've currently played like 4 hours. It's a time loop game. The premise is you're a person who wakes up on a beach or on a riverbank, and you find a stranger. She asks you to help her to go find this person. You go in, you find this thing where it's like, many shall suffer for the sins of the one. Yada, yada, yada. If you're not sinful, you'll be good. You'll find paradise. You go down this hole. You come up in this thing. There's like this like portal. You go into the portal, and then you find out you're in a time loop. And what it is there's this Roman city that is underground, and you find out you've been transported back in time to like 8th century Rome or something like that. And you find out that this city has a golden rule. It's like a city that's supposed to be like paradise, and it's underground, and there's no way out. Nobody can escape, and nobody, like everyone who got there kind of got there in the same way as you. We're like, we woke up on a riverbank and then we got here. So a lot of people don't know how they got there. And someone is going to commit a sin. And in this world, if you sin, everyone dies. If one person sins, everyone dies.
Like I heard about this.
Yes.
And
so many shall suffer for the sins of the one. And so you find out the lead guy is like, hey, if you're here, that means I have created this thing, which is a ritual that's supposed to bring someone back in time to solve this. So if you're here, that means someone's going to commit a sin, and I need you to stop them. And so you were like talking to different people to figure out like who's going to commit sins. And it's not just like, oh, there's a person who's going to commit a sin and you need to get to them. It's like kind of like a puzzle. Like, oh, okay, finally. Like I got it where this guy isn't going to do what he does, but then someone else does a different thing. And you're like, oh shit, now he's going to. And so you're like kind of doing like this thing of like learning why you're there, who built the city, what's going on, why is there a time loop, what's up with these weird statues, what's up with this person, why does he talk that way, is this guy a murderer, did this guy do this? And you're like just talking to people, like finding things. It is actually really good. For $20, it's well worth it. Apparently it's like a 5-hour experience to get, like, because there's multiple endings. Yeah. So you can get like the true ending where you've like done everything. It does what I think better than 12 minutes, which is in 12 minutes constantly having to rehash the same shit, right? In this game, a lot easier to skip dialogue you already heard, and they implement dialogue options in there on purpose that allow you to just skip big chunks where you're like, okay, we've already done this, I need you to do this, and this. And they're like, oh, okay. And they kind of just do it. And even though that's like, oh man, that person wouldn't really do it. Like for the sake of the gameplay, sake of the gameplay, a lot better. Yeah. Also certain things you do like a big like thing to get like for example, like in 12 minutes, you get the phone, right? Well, in this game, imagine a sequence where you also like do get the phone and make a call or whatever. But you have to do it every single time in 12 minutes. Once you have it in this game, they don't worry about the continuity. They just let you keep it. You don't have to go do all the shits again, and you get it. And they acknowledge that. Like when you talk to a guy, he's like, wait, that's kind of like the thing that I have. It's like, what? And so they kind of like acknowledge it in the story that way. But for me, that makes the gameplay a lot better. Yeah. To not have to go re-get these objects. You have them already. You don't have to like go and do all this crazy shit. So I'm really, really into that. And so they don't worry about certain stuff of like, okay, you needed to do this thing, so you're going to have to talk to this guy again and tell him this specific thing and go grab this thing. Nah, you don't have to do that.
That's good.
Fixes all of that. So it's a really, really good game. I'm really enjoying it. So I think anyone with a spare $20 should go ahead and try it. And it does have that Skyrim jank. You can tell, like you go to talk to a person and they go and like turn to you and then like their face is sitting there and they're like, what's going on? Like it has a Skyrim jank. You can definitely tell, but it's its own experience. It's really good.
I don't know if I'd play it. I feel like I've come to the conclusion that maybe time loop games aren't my favorites.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Outer Wilds, it was good.
So good.
I didn't. It wasn't.
You're tripping.
It wasn't for me.
You're tripping.
It wasn't for me.
And then the other thing, I finished Psychonauts 2. Finished that game.
Goaty?
Super, super good. I don't know if it's Goaty yet. Of course, my list is going to get reworked by the end of the year. Definitely in the conversation for the top 5. I don't know if we're going to do top 10 or top 5 at the end of this year, but we'll figure it out. It's definitely in the top 10, probably in the top 5. We'll have to see where it ends up landing. It's a really, really good game. It's incredible. The art style, the levels, the charm, the wittiness, the jokes, the gameplay, all of it comes together for a master class video game developed by one Tim Schafer and the gang over there at Double Fine. I think all the jokes hit. I think all the dialogue is funny. I think every level is unique and does its own thing without making you feel confused. I think the abilities are cool. I think the story goes wild fucking places that I did not expect. I don't know where you are in the story, but I don't think you've hit the point where it's like, oh, shit's getting crazy. Like, certain stuff happens in that game's story where I'm just like, okay.
The first game does that too. So, I mean, this is kind of spoilers for Psychonauts 1, but the game's been out for 15 years. At the end of the game, you're with Coach. Are you in Coach Oleander's brain? I think you're in Coach Oleander's brain, and you're fighting his dad. Yeah, Coach Oleander's dad, and he's like this giant, ugly butcher dude. And then he kind of starts to fuse with Raz's dad because there's that whole thing of like his family hated psychics, so he's like his family hates him. Yeah. And then he starts fighting a combination of his dad and Coach Oleander's dad, and it's like it gets real dark. Yeah. And then
this one always goes also goes some dark places, and just batshit insane like plot twists and stuff where it's just like, holy fuck. Okay, this is not.
I don't think the plot was not the biggest point in the first one.
It is here, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've noticed that so far with the second one. The first one was more about the characters. Yeah. And the gameplay. That was it. The story was like mid. But it definitely seems like a focal point in this game, and I'm excited to get to the end of it.
I agree. That's all I played.
I've played a little bit of Psychonauts, and that's it.
Just a little. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, I've been tired. I've been watching The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been wanting to do when I get home.
Watching The Walking Dead, vibing out.
Yep. You know what it is?
You know what it is. Now it's time for Reader Mail. You can get your questions right on the show by writing into the Reader Mail submissions tab of the Discord or by writing into synceduppod@gmail.com, just like Fielding did. How do you do, fellow kids? Okay, he's talking about Riders Republic. He has his thoughts on Riders Republic in here, which are complete in contrast to my thoughts. So I thought I would bring thought I would allow Fielding to bring his positive spin on Riders Republic compared to my shitting on it last week. So, I played a few hours of the Riders Republic beta, and I've got findings I'd like to share. For some background, I'm super into mountain biking and snowboarding, but I don't feel like there have been many great games in those categories for a while now. I was hesitantly excited about Riders Republic, but after playing 4+ hours of the beta, I'm happy to report that it's a must-buy for me. The snowboarding is fantastic. The controls take a little bit of getting used to, but they're the closest to skate controls that a snowboarding game has ever been. You should try out Steep. If you haven't, Fielding, you should try out Steep. The snowboarding parks are fun to cruise through with all the jumps and rails. Even hitting some backcountry lines is fun. Mountain biking was enjoyable and felt good. I really liked the trick system in this game. The jetpack felt like any other game where you would fly around. Nothing too exciting there. The real fun was in the mass races where you race 31 other players and you switch between all the different sport types. It's ridiculously fun to go from skiing to cycling to jetpacking, all while bumping into other players. There's a story that introduces you to the world that features super cheesy lines and characters, but fortunately it got to the action pretty quick. It's open world with events sprinkled all throughout, a la Forza Horizon. If you're one of those people that just love playing skate and free roam and just vibing while doing tricks all over the place, then this game is for you. I love what I played and look forward to snagging it shortly after release.
Good
So
stuff.
a little bit of a positive spin for you on Riders Republic. I was a bit down on it, but if you're like Fielding and stuff, you might actually get some enjoyment out of this game. Chance and I, it was a miss for us, but I'm glad that it did something for you, Fielding.
God bless.
Spencer writes in this age of remakes and remasters, do you think we will reach a pinnacle where technology will stop advancing enough to warrant a remake, or do you think in another 30 years we will see a resurgence of remakes or the remakes we are getting today? So I got a couple answers to this question.
This is a question. This is just an interesting not psychological, but just an interesting question to begin with.
I got two things for you. Okay. First and foremost, we're never going to see the end of remakes and remasters, not because of technological advancement, but because of money. So they will always come.
There will be a PS7, and they're going to be like, sorry, PS5 games no longer work on here.
But we'll sell these remakes of them. Yep. Nostalgia sells. It sells quite well. So we'll never see the end of remakes and remasters, like you're saying. But now, on the other hand, a pinnacle where technology will stop advancing enough to warrant a remake.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
The human eye can only do so much.
No, we will not. We will not reach a pinnacle. This is why I say
I think games aren't going to need visual updates. I think it's going to be more like
this is a different conversation about not about video games but more about technology in and of itself. Okay,
I think remakes as we know them are going to be gone.
Sure,
I think it's going to be more like VR complete.
Like become Master
haptic
Chief
feedback.
Yeah.
That's where stuff is going to start to go.
Well, is that not in and of itself a remake?
It is, but
Play The Last of Us 2 remake where you're in the shits and you can feel the pain.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm saying, like, that's... I think...
Become Master Chief.
Remakes as we know them is just not going to happen. Where it's just a visual upgrade.
But I was just speaking more on the technological advancement level. We're not going to peak. We're not going to peak out.
We have to eventually.
No, we're not. Right? That's a naive way of thinking. Like,
I know.
Why does there have to be a ceiling? Like, there's nothing to imply a ceiling.
I only know what I know or I've been shown, bro. The Oasis, that's it. That's as far as we can go, dude.
Sure. Yeah, I think, and I say it all the time, the law of accelerating returns, as you get more technologically advanced, you become even more technologically advanced faster. It's just a thing.
Is there anything we've plateaued in already?
No.
Electronics-wise?
No. We haven't.
I don't know, man. Microwaves.
I mean...
They work the same ever since I started using one.
Sure. I guess.
And it's not like I've been like, oh man.
But like what there's no real innovation
There's
no real innovation needed to make for microwaves.
But is that because of lack of innovation or plateau?
Lack of innovation for sure. You could definitely make a better microwave. But there's no money in it, so it's not going to happen.
Fair.
I just think that like it's impossible to fathom where we're going to be technologically in 30 years. Because, I mean, if you think 30 years in the past, we didn't even have the internet.
Well, like, okay.
We didn't have HD.
What about resolution? Do you think we'll peak on resolution eventually?
Bro, I thought 1080 was peak. And then we came out with 2K, and then we came out with 4K, and now we're on 8K.
But, like, our eyes can only I think we'll be limited not by technology, but by
biology. Sure, yeah. But technology won't plateau.
No, they'll find a way
humans
to get
will plateau.
128K.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stop recognizing it at like 32.
Yeah, humanity will plateau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have to adapt.
Yeah. Maybe we'll evolve.
Succeeded.
I don't know. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
It's an interesting conversation.
But then that's the thing. Will it stop because the human eye can, like, there's no money in it, like you said, right?
Yeah.
So there's no, if we can only do like 32K before it's completely unnoticeable, makes no difference. Is there any reason for us to get to 64K?
I don't know, but it's not.
Like,
it won't plateau. That'll just be a physical limit of our own brains.
Yeah, but if it never exceeds that point, that is
the way
plateau.
The way I put it is, I don't think that is that's not a technological plateau. That's a biological plateau.
Well, no, that's just a plateau in general.
Well, sure.
It's like saying like.
But I feel like
that guy peaked in high school,
there's
right?
incomprehensible.
He still has potential to do better, but he's just not gonna.
I feel like
so that's his plateau. He peaked.
Maybe, but I feel like there's incomprehensible places that technology can go that we just can't envision.
That's fair.
And the way they put it, they call it the stepladder system, which is if evolution and technological advancement is a stepladder, and there's like steps along the ladder, and there's like a chimpanzee. And we're like 2 steps above the chimpanzee. It's naive to think that there isn't more steps above us. And like a chimpanzee can't comprehend or understand that a skyscraper was built by humans.
We agree.
Yeah.
I think we just disagree on the definition of plateau.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Because like I feel like once you've like, yes, things could still progress further, but there's no need to, right?
Yeah.
It's like.
But they're still gonna release remasters and remakes. It's just a fact.
Yeah, but not as we know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. We'll have to see. Gaming is one of the fastest growing, fastest changing industries out there. So it's incredibly speed. So no way to know.
Bro, I got water on my phone.
Damn.
I don't know how that happened.
But that's it for this episode of the Synced Up Podcast. Thank you for watching or listening to it. If you support us on Patreon at patreon.com/syncedupodcast, the $5 tier, you'll get access to the post show that we're about to do. And if you do not,
exclusive content.
You can listen to us rank Oliver and Company and The Little Mermaid tomorrow on the Filmcast. But if you paid us $5, we'll see you in a few minutes. And if you did not, we'll see you tomorrow or next week. Goodbye.
Or the week after.